Hello to all my accountable warriors out there. This is another Accountable, the after show. We are going to discuss, let's just say there's a bit of a zoning controversy in Nederland. And as always, my buddy, Aaron Barnhill, he'll join me for this conversation. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the little hungry side. I think it's past dinner time for me.
It is, yeah. I only ate once a day too. So
Me
I had
too,
so much
like
stuff going on.
breakfast. That's it.
I just had lunch.
It's not like I'm doing intermittent fasting or anything.
No.
I just hadn't had a chance to grab anything after breakfast. And it was a late breakfast.
Yeah.
It was like breakfast for lunch. Like breakfast around 2 o'clock.
You're just fasting, I see. Well, you got a doozy for us this week, right?
I do.
So it's really nice for you to step outside of Beaumont. You've been in Beaumont doing stories over the homeless, doing stories over propositions and taxes and everything like this. But
Yep,
this is
train horns. Don't forget about the train horn and toilets that don't flush when it rains. Yeah.
I think on your first outing, you went to Mid-County this
I
week,
did.
right? Yeah. So let us know a little bit about what you found out.
Oh, well, I found out that there's a lot going on in Mid-County.
Yeah.
Like lots of stuff.
Salacious things?
That, maybe later.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to talk about zoning. Zoning in Nederland.
So you mean when zoning, you just mean like either residential or commercial, right?
That's what they're trying to figure out because you have a commercial building in a residential zoning area.
So
That's the controversy
what makes
this week.
something a commercial building?
Let's just say if your next door neighbor has a house that's about 1,300 square feet, and then next door to that is a building that's anywhere between 9,000 and 12,000 square feet.
But it can't be the size of something that
But
determines
no, a commercial building is anything other than what's considered a single family dwelling.
A dwelling where someone lives.
Where someone lives in a
okay.
residential area.
Right.
So that's the situation we have in Nederland on the corner of Avenue C and South 20th. Well, it actually starts at Avenue B and South 20th.
You mean the building's so big that it spans 2 blocks?
Not quite.
Okay.
On Avenue B and 20th, South 20th, is the church. Okay?
Okay.
For what I understand, now this church has been at this location for a long, long time. Since the 1960s. Long time.
So originally as a church.
They've owned the property for a very long time.
Too. Okay.
So,
Is it the
so
same
that's
church?
it's the same church. And see, this is where the argument begins. So back in the day, in Nederland, and like at a lot of other cities across great old US of A, zoning laws change over time. So as the city grew, they had to change the zoning as more
most cities didn't even have zoning laws when they
Correct.
started, right? Yeah.
Right. So what has happened is that there's a mixture in some parts of Nederland where you have single family dwellings, families, mom, dad, kids, dogs, cats, whatever. It's a single family dwelling. And then next door you may have, let's just say, a boutique or a clothing store.
That's commercial, absolutely.
That's commercial,
Yeah.
okay? Those businesses are considered to be grandfathered in.
Okay.
So you don't have to make them shut down or close or whatever. They're grandfathered in. But in the ordinance, Section 8, if you got time, read it. You like reading government documents?
No, not at all.
Ordinances?
I have to. Obviously, I have to,
Okay.
but I do not
Well,
like it.
You know, it's not the thing that I want to do on a Saturday evening.
It's written in a different language.
Exactly.
Right? It's written
exactly.
Yeah.
But my responsibility is, if I'm doing this whole accountability thing, holding government accountable, then I have to kind of go through some documents. I mean, I have to kind of do that stuff these days. But anyway.
And that's why you're the investigative journalist and I'm not.
True.
Yeah.
Right. But so in this situation, cities, they grow over time. So you have to change the zoning laws. So there are parts of Nederland, there's a little bit of mixture. It's kind of eclectic. It's kind of cool, I guess. But they had to change the zoning laws to change with the time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want, let's just say, in where you live, there's a vacant lot next door to you.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so this guy decides, okay, I want to put a smoke shop right there.
Right, yeah.
He can't do that.
Bake shop.
Stuff like that can't do that because zoning laws prohibit it.
Fish market.
Correct.
Anything.
But in this case, a lot of commercial businesses in Nederland, they're grandfathered in, but they became more stricter over time about their zoning laws, trying to maintain residential areas.
And then, like, even more than that, too, I think Nederland's kind of strict on that because it's single-family dwellings only, right? Like,
Correct.
There's not even any apartment buildings.
Or duplexes.
Or even duplexes.
I mean, imagine if you had a big boat and you wanted to store at your house. I mean, you probably have to really, have a hard time in Nederland trying to get,
and then once you buy a house,
special use permit to do that, right?
And then you're invested on the cost of your property value and everything.
Right.
And once you get really squirrely with your neighbors, right? If they have a big boat.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, you get it now. You kind of get it.
I kind of get it. I'm a homeowner. Believe it or not.
You're a quick learn.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, so that's the situation. So the church has owned the property for many, many years. It's grandfathered in. The church can stay there, right? A few years back, they wanted to expand. So the first thing they did, they got a special use permit for a parking lot. They were granted that because, of course, if it's a church, it needs a parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Sense.
But after the parking lot, then there came this new structure they wanted to use to expand their church, like a fellowship hall or something like that. You see them all over the place, right?
Yeah, a lot of churches have a fellowship hall, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly what they're doing. But you have one neighbor said, hold up. This fellowship hall is a commercial building, and it changes the footprint of the original church structure.
So the square footage on the piece of property.
Correct.
Right, okay.
It's been altered.
Okay.
And so you have this citizen saying, wait a minute, you can't do that because it's against code. I mean, your grandfather in, that's good, but it means that you can't alter it, you can't change it, you can't tear it down and build it back up.
Or add different buildings.
Or the church can't become a smoke shop, right?
Well, the church, they're not running a commercial, it's not operating commercially, right? It's not.
No.
It doesn't have a for-profit business operating out of a fellowship hall, right?
Well, don't know that yet. Maybe I should check it.
Okay.
You're opening up a whole nother can of worms with that. But looking at the document, looking at the permit for this, that it is for a fellowship hall, and it lists out square footage, commercial square footage, then it lists about 7,000 square feet, then storage square footage, then it lists out another 2,000 square feet. But then if you look at the work plans, you have to submit those. You have to submit that too.
And that's one thing this is one thing that, so you only have about 3 minutes to do these pieces, right? And on the broadcast news, and that's what we're doing, is getting a little deeper into this. So I know that you're calling this a zoning controversy.
I got something in my teeth.
I
have lipstick on my teeth.
No, you're good.
I just felt something.
You're good. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, okay, things we go through, right?
So what I'm saying is, with zoning, we have commercial and residential that pertains to zoning, right? And that's what we're talking about. But also with building codes, you have residential and commercial building codes as well. And then so there's different standards for each one of these buildings. And I know personally, in most municipalities, if you have a giant steel building that has no windows, it would never be considered residential, because in order for you to build a house or a dwelling, it has to have a certain number of windows for every room. It has to have egress. It has to have, and this is, these are building codes that aren't necessarily about zoning, but they're about the building codes. So
fire protection is another thing.
Commercial through that way as well as sort of building codes.
Well, just sticking to the documentation, it does say commercial.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So when I pulled it up on JCAD, the building is there. It doesn't say in a commercial zone. It has residential single-family dwelling. So that's where the conflict comes in, right? Because you have neighbors who say, well, this goes beyond the footprint of this original church.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into something much bigger of a commercial building.
So are all of the people on that street pretty unhappy with it?
I won't say all,
Okay.
because I didn't talk to all of them.
Right.
Talked to a few, and they were just concerned that, this building is just too huge. And the guy who lives next door, he's like, look, this is a huge building that sits right next door to me within 7 feet max.
7 feet.
That's it. Between the fence line, 7 feet. And
7
he's
feet,
saying
okay.
that his quality of life is drastically changing because of this, and not only because of the size of the building. Look, he flat out told me, I used to get a nice breeze to come through here. I used to enjoy sitting out on my front porch and get a nice cool breeze, and now this huge building blocks that. And then they're going to have to install security lights, those big bright lights.
Yeah, like a halogen light or, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be shining right into his bedroom window.
I hope he gets some blackout curtains. But,
Yeah, he's going to have to. And then, remember that parking lot?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's his backyard now.
Well, one thing that would concern me if I was a neighbor too is I've seen a picture of this building, and it is
So,
huge.
tell me what you think about it. Yeah.
My first concern would be flooding. So if you have a giant parking lot, water doesn't absorb in that; it runs off. Water
Okay.
won't stand on a parking lot; it runs off. That's why. It's honestly why Houston has such a huge problem with flooding, is because it's mainly a giant parking lot now.
Yeah.
And then also, now that you have all these buildings, that's also a roof where water runs off both ways from that, doesn't absorb in the ground. So you're displacing the entire square footage
Yeah.
of the roof, the building, and the parking lot, and that water has to go somewhere. It's not going to go through that. So it goes to your neighbor's yards. And I've lived in situations where that's happened before, where the building is next door is a parking lot and a huge structure, and it always flooded my yard. So I would be
Okay, you know
I'd be
what?
concerned about that.
That was on the cutting room floor this time.
Oh, okay. So
I couldn't get into the
Yeah.
drainage
Right.
concerns and all that because
that would be my.
I only had like 2 minutes,
It's a bigger
30
concern
seconds.
for me than lighting, but I understand.
The lighting
yeah.
would be a bigger concern to me
Really?
because I'm a girl. I need like
You need sleep.
8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I function well without 8 hours. And I need it dark, dark, dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like a dark room.
Yeah. You
No light, dark,
you
like
need
a
to process
cave.
photos in there. I understand. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my concern is that I have to fix the things that go wrong in my house, and if it's flooding all the time,
Yeah.
that would be a big problem.
Yeah, I can see where
Yeah.
that'd be a problem for you too. But I mean, and it's hurricane season, and it's rainy season and all that, and
Yeah, we got hurricanes coming up, and it's going to
Yeah.
rain. We have not just hurricanes, but every single tropical storm that comes through is going to dump 10
right,
inches.
yeah, yeah.
And that would be my. But I mean, that's my concern. Is there any? We just actually shared this on Facebook. Do
Right.
we have any?
We
any
do,
citizens of Nederland?
Glad you
already
asked.
putting
because
comments
guess
down?
what? I have it right here. So, okay, we have some viewers, and that are like, you must be an atheist. No, really. Like, this is a church. This person says a church they make the best neighbors. I would not mind a church in my neighborhood. And someone said you can't find a better neighbor than a church.
Okay.
Why would anyone be opposed to a church? Someone said it's definitely not bringing down the value in the neighborhood. Let them join the church. He's like, just go on over there and
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to the revival.
Well,
Yeah, go over
can
there.
they join the church? Is it open to the public?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't see a sign. I didn't see
Okay.
services day, come on in.
So this is.
I don't know. I mean, but I would think it's a church. Like, church is open to the public, right?
Yeah. Did you try to reach out to the church when you're doing your story? I'm sure, right?
Yeah, of course I did.
yeah. That's.
Yeah.
You do your journalistic due diligence. You get
Exactly.
both sides of everything.
Exactly. But I just want to make perfectly clear right now that this story is not about the church.
Right.
Okay, it's not about the church at all. When I went out to do this story, my main focus, remember, government accountability. So look, it's not about the church. I'm a good Baptist girl. you can ask my pastor, Pastor Delbert Mack, Cathedral of Faith Baptist Church. He'll vouch for me. I got married in the church. Hallelujah. Yes, I love the Lord. I did not set out to disparage the church or put the church in a bad light at all. I want to make that very clear. This was strictly a story about zoning and neighbors who are concerned about zoning. So that's why in my story, I mean, you didn't see me run up to the church members or anybody like that and say, hey, why are you doing this to Mr. Joe next door? No, I talked to the new mayor. Okay?
Yeah,
so my focus is about government accountability. It has nothing to do with...
It's not gotcha journalism.
No, nothing at all to disparage the church. I'm sure they're wonderful, beautiful, nice people. I just want to make that clear. It has nothing to do with the church or the contractors or anything like that. It's strictly about this zoning concern that some neighbors have, okay? So, but people, you know, some of the Facebook comments, leave them alone, leave the church alone. Had a comment, one person said, look, I'm glad it's not me because I would have to sell my house. I mean, I can't believe that, you know, someone would do this in my neighborhood. You know, very concerned about property values.
That's a really mixed set of comments.
It really is. Yeah. And so the whole idea for these accountable stories is to take citizens' concerns that are brought to us and to get some answers for them. So when I took this concern to the new mayor, Jeff Darby in Nederland, I mean, he's only been in office for less than a month.
Right.
3 weeks.
We just had the elections.
We just
did,
took the oath of office 3 weeks ago. And so this was a lot, he felt like, thrown at him very early because he has to get up to speed on absolutely everything.
He seems a little overwhelmed. Yeah,
exactly. So he decided to call this special meeting. You know, he wants everybody on the same page. So that's going to include the entire council. That's going to include the city manager, city attorney, city manager, I believe, too, was interim. They have new city manager. They have new council members. And the chief building inspector. They're going to go over to the building, check it out.
Oh, yeah, inside and out, I guess.
And discuss the process that went behind, you know, permitting this type of structure in the residential area. He didn't have a lot of answers for me because he just could not answer some of the questions I had for him. So he's called this special meeting, which is going to be Monday, prior to the regularly scheduled city council meeting.
Tuesday, right? So
no, Monday.
Oh, Monday.
Monday. Beaumont is Tuesday.
Beaumont and Port Arthur.
Port Arthur, but Nederland's Monday.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to make me check my calendar because I'm supposed to be there.
I don't know. I just assume they're all on Tuesday.
But it's Monday. And so there's a lot of stuff that I just wanted to lay the groundwork for this story because I know it's an evolving story. There's a lot of new information that's going to come to light. And I have no idea at this point what could be a resolution. The neighbor I talked to, the concerned citizen, Jolie Shipley, she wants a resolution. But what would that be? The building, only a month left in construction.
Right?
It's there.
It's built now, yeah.
So what what could be the resolution?
Do you think this is a case of asking for forgiveness instead of permission?
I am one to always want to show people mercy. I have a forgiving heart. I just want y'all to know I am not a bad person for doing this story. I think there could be some sort of, I don't want to use the word atonement, but people coming together and having a discussion and trying to find a place where they can agree to disagree, but they can be neighborly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
So I'm hoping that this could be one of those situations, right?
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think it's a good thing you highlighted that this is an evolving story. Obviously, it's not done. The building isn't even done being constructed yet. We have the special meeting coming up and all that. So, do you plan on following this story? Maybe doing, a resolution or part 2?
Right. Well, hold that thought after this commercial break. If you have a story idea of holding government accountable, send your ideas to 6newsaccountable@sgbtv.com. Okay, so yes, I will stay on this story as long as I have to.
Good.
Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know. I will follow it wherever it leads. And we'll see what happens after Monday for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
And then it kind of begs the question too. Now this is just a moral question. I think it's a moral question. So you have a right legally to do something, but is it always okay to do it? Is it always the best thing to do just because you can?
I think the answer to that is morality lies in how you affect others. Right? I mean, I think that's just what it is, and I think kind of the American ideal is you have the right to swing your fists around until they hit somebody else. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So.
But the guy next door feels like he's been punched in the gut.
Right. Well, this is a pretty big one. This is a big story. It's ever evolving. I'm glad we got this part 1. We got this little discussion, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. I'm curious, like all the rest of you. I'm very curious. I want to see, how this thing is going to evolve, and if there will be a resolution, and what would that be?
And we didn't even get into any of the rumors.
Oh no, I don't. I don't report on rumors.
I know, but
I only report the facts.
Only the facts. Well, anyway, I think that's probably going to do it for this after party. But thanks for watching, guys. And like always, there's so much more information than we can put in 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes.
Right.
So stick around every time Erika goes and she broadcasts her accountable. We're going to come on here, kind of give you the more meat and potatoes of it. Right,
and we want you to start joining the conversation. I mean, it's supposed to be a. Did you say after party?
After party. I meant after show.
Okay,
after
that's
show.
why it's so quiet. That's why it's an after show. I'm like a party for two.
That's it, a party.
No, but anyway, we need you to join the conversation. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your ideas and your opinions on this.
Yeah, take those Facebook comments and meander to the YouTube chat, right? We want you in the chat.
No judgment here. Right. None.
Anyway. Well, all right, that's going to do it. Well, thanks, Erika.
Okay, until we meet again, Accountable Warriors, have a good evening.